Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle11, and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at pitching for today, the 31st of March. It is a Sunday, it is Easter, so happy Easter to everybody out there. We do get a 10-game main slate on DraftKings. And once again, I am going to look at DraftKings because that is where most of my action occurs. The biggest thing is on FanDuel, quality start, bonus, and strikeouts are a much bigger piece of the puzzle. Uh, so generally, the guys that go over here, most of them will be in play on FanDuel, but not all of them. I would say that my pitcher pool between the two sites is cut in half when I go to FanDuel, to give you an idea. Just because pricing over there isn't quite as tight, it allows you to pay up mostly at pitcher, which I find to be pretty important. So, without further ado, we are going to dig in here. And as always, this is a first look. I haven't done much for researching yet, but I do have some K props up on my other screen. That's going to be pretty important to dig in, uh, especially at the beginning of the season, as we kind of learn what these lineups are doing or are capable of doing on a daily basis. So, at the top, we get Kevin Gausman. I do have some worries, dealt with some shoulder fatigue, I think it was, during the spring. He is a minus 120 road favorite. Uh, Not the biggest favorite, but again, I don't think the Tampa Bay offense is as potent. Um, Road numbers not as strong as home, but still pretty solid overall. Um, I believe he is sitting second in terms of K prop on the slate. Um, Second or third, actually second. It looks like his K prop is at 5.5. Juice is decently on the over right now, sitting behind Jack Flaherty at who has a 6.5 K prop, and we'll get into Flaherty a little bit later. But I am definitely going to use Gausman. The fact that we get a Cy Young type arm for under 10K is always intriguing to me. So I will gladly go heavier on Gausman. So going down, speaking of Flaherty, K prop of 6.5. Uh, Kind of shocking. Wasn't the best last year, uh, but I actually do think there's somewhat of a bounce back. He did show some flashes last year of his old self that had us going, okay, maybe Jack Flaherty's back. He just really wouldn't follow it up with a much for performances. I believe this Toronto game last year was his first one with Baltimore after being traded. He came back and just absolutely dominated them. Kind of faded a bit as the season went on, but I really love Flaherty's upside. He gets such a great matchup. He's a minus 140 road favorite. The White Sox lineup is so rough, other than the fact that they went off a little bit yesterday, but they still took the L. Just needs to be able to avoid Lubob at this point. I really like his upside. I wonder if there's going to be a lot of people that skip his price tag, kind of based on how they've been burned maybe the last 2 years by Flaherty, because that is a pretty aggressive price tag to have to pay. Uh, I am considering Chris Sale here. Uh, Best ball wise, I have a ton of Chris Sale this season. I'm thoroughly worried actually at this point because of how much, but he is a minus 135 favorite in this game. His K prop is at 5.5, just slightly behind Kevin Gossman at this point. I like Sale. He did some pretty solid things in the spring. I think this is a great season for him. I think he is a tough matchup for Philadelphia. He's so tough on left-handed hitters that I think Harper can struggle. We definitely know that Schwarber can struggle. Stott uh, loses some against lefties as well. And there are definitely some strikeouts against the righties. So I think there's some upside here with Chris Sale. That kind of means a couple guys here at the top I'm definitely fading. As much as I like Bailey Ober, the Twins are a minus 125 favorite. I'm just not going to get to Ober uh, at his price point. Just seems a little too aggressive. K props at 4.5. Juice is really strong on the over, so it's probably a decent matchup, but I just don't know that I want to get there, to be honest. Struggled against Kansas City last year. Strikeouts were there, but he just gave up runs. Um, had an up and down spring. There's some starts this spring where he looked like he was taking a leap forward. I just don't think we need to go there. Like I said, Gaussman a little bit more, Flaherty and Sale less. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at the top. As we go down, I am kind of intrigued a little bit here by the Tyler Wells Reed Detmers matchup. Uh, Reed Detmers against Baltimore sounds really, really dangerous. Probably won't get there, but I'm 100% considering it right now. Uh, I do like left-handed pitching in that ballpark because of the ballpark dimensions. Both guys have K props of 4.5. Tyler Wells juices very much on the over. Uh, I'm going to be intrigued. I just wish he was actually a little cheaper, to be honest. 8,300 does feel like an aggressive price point. Racked up the strikeouts last year against the Angels. It was really strong last season. Not a huge K guy. The home runs are an issue. 25 home runs allowed in 122 innings is pretty is a pretty aggressive amount. So there is some worry there. Uh, it's a matter of the if the Angels have enough bats to get to him, uh, and I'm not sure that they do, unfortunately, um, or fortunately for us using Wells. But I like the spot. It's going to be Wells over Detmers for me, but like Detmers dropping a shocking start uh, as far as the public wouldn't shock me. He did shut down Baltimore last year, for what it's worth. Gave up some hits, but uh, not any runs. Was solid in strikeouts. It's a guy that just flashes big upside. It's just a matter of can he avoid walks. So he's one of those sneaky guys on the slate for me. I'm not really considering John Gray much. Missed his last spring start with a neck issue. Not really a great thing. He's kind of dealt with injuries the last couple seasons. I think this Cubs lineup is dangerous enough that I don't necessarily love Gray in this spot. Looking at a K prop of 5.5, but the juice is very strong on the under. Just probably not a spot that we want to attack. Clark Schmidt, I don't really want to pick on Houston in Houston. Does have K prop sitting at 4.5. Looks strong to close out the spring. I'll actually watch that game. It's one of those guys that he's intriguing because he flashes his stuff, but then he makes mistakes or whatever. So I just may not get to Schmidt, or he may be one of the last men in my pitching pool. I try to keep it around 8 to 10, just to make my percentages work in how I do things in my notes. One other name here I am really considering strongly is going to be Nick Martinez. I have a feeling he is going to struggle a little bit as a starter, but I really liked him in San Diego last year. Closed out the season strong, picking up some starts. Started the season out okay as a starter. Had an elite performance here. Don't remember who it was against, but obviously the ballpark small. Home runs happen in this ballpark. Not sure what the weather looks like yet. but the Reds are a minus 175 favorite. That is strong enough for me to consider. K prop of 4.5 with the juice very strongly on the over, so we should expect some strikeouts out of him as well. Uh, I'm intrigued, so I'm going to be looking to go there. Uh, Two names I want to also throw in quick: Tyler Megill and Colin Ray in this matchup. Uh, I think there's some upside from either spot. I don't think the opposing lineup is all that dangerous right now, so I can see people going to them. Most of these other guys down here I'm going to fade, and we get our first opener situation in Tampa Bay this season. Definitely not using Tyler Alexander, the former Tigers pitcher. Probably not going to Bailey Falter, even though I've been picking on the Marlins a bit. As much as I liked Falter when he was with the Phillies, it's been super volatile. Not somebody I want to trust necessarily. So uh, there's kind of my first look here at pitching and what we have for options. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, etc., the Discord being a really big one. I'll put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, RAZ, for 10% off monthly. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on to get the alerts anytime I or any of the other coaches here drop videos on the DFS YouTube channel. And as always, best of luck, everybody.